Hey, good morning there, Sweet Peas. Basic Prepper Mom Myra. I want to talk about plans. And this is something I have to admit, this is an area where I probably, that and the whole water collection thing are probably my two least prepared areas, I guess. But when we talk about making a plan, most of the time we're thinking of, if we're at home and something happens, what's our plan? What do we do when we're at home with our family? Everybody's there, right? We don't really talk about a plan if you happen to be out and about. If you happen to be out and about with your family, if you happen to be out and about by yourself and your family's separated, or your kids are at school, everybody's at work. We never really kind of discuss that whole total plan situation. And I think it's important to really start working on that. We actually I just had a conversation with my family, and it happened to be, just gonna be honest, it happened to be after the John Wick 4 movie that we went and saw. And on the way home, I said, we really need to work together and practice training together. Not just have a plan, but practice training together as a family. And of course they were like, why? Like, why? They're still not totally on board with, everything. And to be honest, even though my kids are older, they see what I do, they hear what I talk about, they know what I'm involved in, I guess you could say. They actually come to our monthly meetings. I don't think that they are that concerned with what's coming down the line. And for right now, to be honest, I'm okay with that. Because even though they're older, I'm okay with them still having a little bit of innocence and naivety. They do, but they don't, kind of thing. I don't want this to be something, because they are so young. They're older, but they're, in the grand scheme of things, they're still younger. I don't want this to consume them. I don't want this to be everything that they think about 24/7. I want them to be able to still kind of go out and have a normal life and do normal things and all of that. Normal teenager and young adult things. So I'm okay with them not having that 24/7 mentality of the sky is falling, the whole Chicken Little thing. So that's okay. But I do think it's important to talk to them and have a plan in place for them to know, mainly so that they know things are taken care of, that they know things are secure, that they know if something bad happens, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. And I think that in a turn gives them a little bit of peace of mind of, okay, mom or dad or whoever, guardian, whatever, they've got this handled. They can do this. Okay, I'm safe, I'm secure, because they're thinking about my safety. They're thinking about my well-being. And we're talking about it, which means I don't need to freak out. I don't need to panic, because they've got this under control. And we've discussed what to do. And I know what to do if this happens. So I think it is important to have those conversations with your family members, with your kids specifically, age appropriate, of course, of what would an emergency situation look like? What would we need to do as a family? And where would we need to go? Where would we need to meet up? Who's to call? Who's to say? Whatever the situation, okay? But think about those plans while you're out and about. So I tend to run through scenarios in my head every time I'm out. If I'm at the grocery store, if I'm getting gas, if I'm, at work, if I'm driving in my vehicle, just driving around. What if I'm driving down the road? I know this is going to be worst case scenario here. I'm driving down the road and I see a bomb go off. I see missiles flying. I see whatever the situation. What do I need to do at that point? And I know it sounds a little crazy. Of course, all of this sounds kind of crazy if you think about it. But in the world we're living in right now and how volatile the world is, not just the US, but how volatile the world is right now, I do think that it's important to think about worst case scenarios and to think about your plan and to put those in place and to make sure that everyone in your family knows your plan. Because it's really great for you to have a plan. It's amazing for you to have a plan for your family and you're like, I got everything up here. I know exactly what we're going to do. But if you don't convey it to the rest of your family, it's not going to do anybody any good. Your family needs to be involved in this. Your family needs to be involved in the planning. Your family needs to be involved in the training. And whether that training is with firearms, whether that training is with other tools, whether that training is get from point A to point B as quickly and safely as you can, as quietly as you can, whatever the training involved. Okay, go around the house, lock the doors, shut the blinds or the curtains, whatever that training is, everyone needs to be on board with that. So this is absolutely a perfect time to really reiterate the training involved for all different scenarios, whether you're at home or whether you're not at home. I think the conversation definitely needs to happen. So not only get your plan in place, but get your training in place as well. Whatever you're going to do, train. If you are someone who is wanting to have firearms and you want the training to involve firearms, please, 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 I cannot stress this enough. I don't care if you grew up with firearms. I don't care if you hunted your whole entire life with firearms. You're whatever. Please find someone who is trained and skilled in defense protection. Not just someone who, I've been around firearms all my life, I can teach you. No, please don't do that. Make sure that you find someone who is skilled, who is trained, and can train you in self-defense techniques, protection techniques. That's what you need. Not just someone who knows about guns and goes, yep, this is a great gun, tell you everything in the world about that gun, tell you the manufacturer, when it was made, how many of it. That doesn't matter. You need to find someone who is absolutely professional in their teaching of self-defense or defensive techniques in firearms, defensive and protection, okay? Or defense and protection. That's what you need to do. If you want to take it up a notch, then you find someone who is very skilled and experienced in tactical maneuvers. But please do your research and find someone who is qualified, find someone who is knowledgeable, and find someone who is experienced in teaching those specific techniques. Not just because they're really knowledgeable about guns and they can shoot really well. Because I don't care how well you can shoot, if you're put in a very high intense, high energy, anxious, nervous, emergency situation, your body changes, your reactions change, and you need to also know how to deal with that and breathe. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the sky is falling in the immediate, when it happens, I am the sky is falling kind of person. It takes me a moment to step back and go, okay, hold on, get a hold of yourself and assess the situation and figure everything out. So I need to work on that technique with myself. And okay, when something happens, you need to just take a breath real quick, like a split second. Sometimes you only have a split second, not even a split second, but I need to work on my calming down a little bit more and being able to handle the situation and not completely freak out about it. So we all have things that we work on. We all have flaws. We're all humans. And I think it is most important to continue to work on not only our plan and our techniques, but to work on ourselves too. To work on how we are going to react in that situation, because you can have a plan put out in place, but as soon as something does happen and it is a true emergency, sometimes your adrenaline and your body and everything that's going on kind of takes over at that moment, and you need to really figure out a way to kind of ground yourself back down to be able to deal with whatever situation is on hand in the best possible way for not only yourself but your family. So get your plan in place, get your training done, figure out what you're going to do, talk to your family, talk to some professionals, and just keep on going. Food, medication, water, food, medication, water. There's a lot of other stuff to stock up on as well, but those are kind of the basics. And work on your self-sufficiency and work on your self-reliant. Work on your skills. What skills do you have to offer to anybody else that's coming in? Because commodities are great, but sometimes your skills are what's really needed. So work on that. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day, and we will talk to you soon.